I've never seen most of this footage before. Why are you cheesing so hard?
Because you haven't seen this, so to me it's just hilarious. I didn't know this part was coming either.
Today we are celebrating Asa and Cretia. Thank you for your support. Thank you for giving me a life partner that I can build with. I appreciate it. You know, all of you have watched me grow from being a young man to meeting my partner and getting married and becoming a husband and a father and all this great stuff. And so what's important about this moment is we wanted to do it the right way.
But you did.
The right way. Look, he was waiting for that moment so he could say that.
My wife and I have differences in opinions as it relates to roles and getting things done. So my wife is the creative in our relationship. I'm the budget keeper. Okay, so the creator paints the picture, paints the vision. I'm constantly asking, well, how much does that cost? Does that make sense?
Oh, definitely.
With that said, then, who takes responsibility for the wedding planning?
Who planned our wedding?
We got married roughly 4 months after we decided that we were going to get married. Held a wedding, put it together. So what we decided to do is, because we wanted to have a quaint, small, private wedding, we wanted to plan this together in less than 4 months. Our biggest challenge being COVID-19. In less than 4 months, we had to pick a venue. We had to figure out the different things that we needed. We had to find a space to do the reception. And we also had a very limited budget because we're both working professionals. We're not quite where we want to be.
Okay, I want to say this. Like, that is his version of what happened. Yeah, that's definitely not my version, but yeah, it sounded good. So first and foremost, we had more than 4 months to plan a wedding. We were engaged at least a year before we even got before the wedding even came.
Okay.
So we technically had a year to prepare for the wedding. What happened was he waited until the last minute to start trying to help me with certain aspects of the wedding, like picking this, picking that, finding the addresses for where he needs to send our virtual boxes to. So honestly, he waited to the very last minute to start helping me. So he had 4 months at that point to prepare for the wedding. I had the entire year before that to plan for the wedding. Also, I don't know what budget issues he was talking about, but he had a job, I had a job, and I was also working handling business as well with my side job. So 4 months before, for the most part, I've already ordered things, got everything done, without probably not even his knowledge. I just did everything on my own at that point until he decided 4 months before the wedding that, okay, now I need to start helping. Then he had a checklist, and then he's checking prices and seeing how much this and that costs. Or, you have to book, certain things like videographers and stuff like that way in advance. You can't just book somebody at the last minute. Normally this stuff is like, planned sometimes years in advance for people that have a wedding. Now, I did want something. I didn't actually want a wedding. So let me start there. It's not that I wanted a small wedding. I did not want to have a wedding.
That is true.
What do you want to have?
I wanted to have where me and him just go to the courthouse and then maybe go out to eat, or, we still could have taken pictures or, done certain things, or even celebrated with our family and our friends like after. But I'm not the type of person that likes to be in large crowds. I'm kind of a loner and shy to a certain extent. So that's why I would have preferred. I didn't, want to walk down the aisle in this dress, surrounded by a lot of people. But this is also part of, his culture and where he comes from and how he wants to, celebrate with all of his friends and family around, see him, and he wants to see his wife walked. And most importantly, he wants me to have the wedding of my dreams. But unfortunately, like, a wedding wasn't part of my dreams.
And if I may add some more content to that, I think most parents want to see their daughters have a wedding. So it wasn't about necessarily what I wanted. It was about honoring her parents in a way. When we talk about those challenges, her father actually had COVID-19.
Right, the week of the wedding. So he couldn't even walk her down the aisle.
So when we talk about having challenges, there's so many challenges.
Right.
I think when you try to plan something as large as a wedding, you need to have people that you can trust to be a part of that process, because you can't be in the wedding, can't be your wedding and you're responsible for everything in the wedding.
That's true.
It just doesn't work.
Well, did we say anything good about the wedding?
It wasn't really about the wedding. It was about the wedding, but it wasn't. It was about how we felt about things more so than it was focusing on the event itself.
How did you feel about the day, man? Because in the photos, you
he looked jolly, happy, like his family was there. He hadn't seen them in a while. He was feeling good.
For me, the wedding was one of the best moments of my life, for the reasons that I've previously shared. Just honoring my wife, honoring her family, honoring my family. My family flew in from Florida and different parts of the eastern United States just to be there. The select people who could be there, because everybody couldn't. We had a limited seating arrangement because of COVID, but seeing the sacrifice that they had made, me being the youngest of 6 and the last one to get married, seeing my gorgeous wife, despite her feelings and her sentiments, everything manifesting into a vision and us executing that wedding was just such a moment for me, that's why I had a little more pep in my walk and my step, because I knew I was marrying like my dream woman, and she was, you guys saw her in the pictures, I was a happy man that day. And I felt like one of the luckiest men in the world. So that was the feeling that you saw in those pictures.
If I had to do the whole wedding over again, I would definitely have hired someone to help me, like, with the planning and with making sure everything was in order, assisting with our musician that was there. Even our music almost didn't happen at the last minute because it was about to start raining. So if I just would have had somebody maybe handling certain things, I probably would have been less stressed out.
I agree with her. I think the best thing would have been to hire a videographer or a cinematographer to capture what we really wanted to extend to the people who couldn't be there because of COVID. But again, the biggest highlight for me, I'm a people person, is that, for the few select family members who were able to make it, they enjoyed it, and they speak well of that memory, and they traveled home and they didn't have COVID.
Yes, nobody got sick at the wedding, so that was like a big relief to me, that everybody came out of it healthy, that we got married, and that sounds like our kids coming. And so that's it.